Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I have a video that I have contemplated doing or not doing. And I talked about it with some very good Medford friends, the OG-12, which is the first original 12 guys that went to the very first Centurion event. We have stayed very close over the last 3+ years, and I think we chat most every day in a group chat. And somebody loaned me in a Medford clone, and they know it's a clone, but they were curious, and they got one. Okay. I'm going to start off by saying I do not condone clones at all. And I am not even a big fan of homage watches. A watch that looks like something else, but is blatantly a different brand, right? Somebody that might make a watch that looks like a Rolex Submariner, but is branded by watchmaker XYZ. I'm not sure I love those either. That's not really my thing. So in talking to the OGs about doing this video, not doing this video, they convinced me to do the video because it will help to enlighten people what a clone looks like. I hope I do not enlighten anybody that owns a Medford thinking it's a Medford, and throughout the course of this video find out that it is a clone, but it's the chances we take. So let's dive in. I have 6 knives out here on the table, 5 of which are genuine, 1 of which is a clone. You may have already spotted it, you may not have. So it is not this TFF1. We'll narrow it down that way. But this is out here for a reason. Let's just dive right into it. This one here is the clone. It is a Praetorian clone. And let's just go into some of the things you'll notice only in your hand. But if you are shopping for something online and somebody says they have one and it sounds like a great deal, here are some visual things that you might be able to tell as to why it is or isn't a genuine article. This one is a slightly smaller than a genuine full-size Praetorian. It's hard to tell here to the naked eye, but let's see if I can line it up with the caliper here. So here's the edge of the clone Praetorian, and you can see that the genuine Praetorian, this is a Praetorian G, is slightly longer. If I set them on top of each other, maybe I can show that a little bit better. So they're lined up at the front, and the jimping is lined up fairly well. And you can see that the genuine article is longer. So that might be hard to tell in a picture. Okay. Let's look at the logo. The logo on the clone is completely outside of the scale. And on the genuine Praetorian G, it's slightly obscured by the scale. And if I look at, my TIG, it was also slightly obscured. This other Praetorian T, which is hard to see because of the coating, you get the light, is slightly covered by the scale as well. Okay? In your hand, the clone, the logo is just printed on. Whereas on the genuine articles, they're stamped in. They're not colored, they're just stamped in, and that's it. There is no paint, there's no coating. So if you see a bright, vibrant color, well, then it's not real. Let me zoom in here too, because you can see the logo is just different as well. The M is not as crisp. The line above the M on the clone is kind of a knife, kind of just a line. So that's something you could see visually. Maybe ask for pictures of a close-up of the logo. The other thing you'll notice here is the pivots. Let's zoom back in. The genuine pivot has a chamfer around it, and these are the same on any two-hole pivot. They all have that chamfer. And the newer style pivots also have that chamfer. The clone is completely smooth and it's flush. Okay? These are a little proud on all of these pivots. The genuine pivots are proud of the scale. So you could ask for a picture of it sideways to see if the pivot is proud of the scale or not. That's something else you could ask a picture for. Another tell is the pocket clip. And that's why I brought out the TFF1. This is similar to the old school pocket clips. Okay? The hardware is different. The standoffs is different. But it is reminiscent of the older style. But again, you can see the logo is bigger than on the original. The other thing to look at here with the old style clip is if it has the original old style clip, it would not have hardware, a screw head on this side. These older style ones have the hardware that goes in from the show side through the standoff, and it threads into the titanium lock side. So there is no screw head. On the newer one, and that's even on these older ones here, in recent years, the current versions, which I don't have one on the table, do have hardware that goes in through both sides and threads into the standoff. If it has an old style clip like this, it would not have screw heads on this side. They did not start doing this until much later after they changed the clip. Okay? Smaller size, the wrong clip, the hardware is wrong. So if you look at this hardware, which you could see in a picture, it's kind of a rounded, flush hardware. They don't use that style hardware. It is a flush hardware, but it's a, pinned Torx head here, or it's Allen head over here. They never used anything like this, a rounded Allen head screw. So it's either, a flushed one like this, but not with a rounded head. One other thing you can certainly notice, if you look at the lock face, the genuine one is on the right and the clone is on the left. It's a very tiny lock face surface. And all of these T's and full ties have that bigger lock face. So that's a pretty good indication as well. And you could easily ask for a picture of it like this to really see that difference. And that would be a total give me. Granted, when they're posting a for sale post, it's normal pictures. You know, it's this way, and you know, they might open it, and it looks pretty, you know, good. You can look at the fuller. Notice how on the original genuine, it's a much bigger, wider fuller. This one is shallower. Again, that's a hard one to pick up on a picture though. And oftentimes, just because somebody's selling a clone, selling one, and they don't have something else to take a picture of it next to, that doesn't mean that it's fake. A lot of people may just have one Medford and they can only take a picture of one, you know. So that in and of itself is not an indication. But if you are suspect, ask for a picture next to another one, if they have it. It doesn't hurt to ask. So here's the two Tonto blades together. You can also see just the blade is shorter. So just kind of the geometry of the blade is off. Let me try to line these up, kind of stop pin to stop pin if I can. So it slopes down more aggressively. You can see the one in the back, just how it's shaped a little differently. That would be a hard thing to pick up in just a for sale type picture. But it is just one more thing. The blade thicknesses are virtually the same. I did not measure and do all of that on this one because I didn't want to get that invested, but we can measure just really quick. 0.186, 186, 185. And on an original, it's 190. So you can ask them for a picture, perhaps, if you're questioning. Maybe ask them to take a picture with a caliper on it. Again, it's hard to tell. The lock bar reliefs are very similar. I don't know that you could pick up a difference in a picture because they are very similar. The finger grooves are pronouncedly different, but again, without having a genuine next to it to compare, it might be difficult. But again, ask for pictures. Take those pictures and look on the Medford website. Pull up a Praetorian from the Medford website and see what it looks like on the website. Here's another indication as well. If you look at the edge of the blade, this back side of the blade, this one is the genuine one is a bit more rounded, whereas on the copy it just goes straight down. I don't know that that's really showing very well on the camera, but it's something that you just have to really investigate. What else did I write down on my notes here? I think also, again, this is something that is hard to tell in a picture. This one is 11.5 ounces, whereas this tee is 9 ounces. Now, granted, this one has a bunch of sculpting. It's contoured, it's a little different, but that's a significant weight difference. I mean, it's significant just in your hands. You can tell the difference. So maybe ask them to put it on a scale. That's not a guarantee, though, because each full-size Praetorian is going to weigh a little bit different. Okay, there may be some variances based on the sculpting, so it's a hard one to gauge. The breakers actually look pretty good. You can see at the edge, the breaker here is a little more squared off, more defined. Again, that's going to be something that's hard to tell just in a picture. But again, if you're suspect, ask for pictures and compare those with pictures from the Medford website, Google. There's several Medford Facebook groups that you could join and ask questions there. The guys are super helpful in there. Medford Militia and Medford Aficionados are two of the bigger ones. quick plug, I do run the Medford Aficionado site, so we are a helpful group of guys there, willing to look at any of your pictures to tell you if it's genuine or fake, because we don't want anybody to buy something and then get it home, think it's a genuine thing, and it's not. Once you get it home, you should probably be able to tell there's a little bit of blade play in this one. It just feels much different. I'm not going to go into all of the nuances, but also here is one more thing that I just now noticed. The detent track. So you can see on the genuine one, there is a pronounced wear on this detent track on the blade. And I can't really feel it, but here on this one, you don't see really a wear mark. So that could be telling also. Either it's not broken in and it's like extremely brand new, so it may not have the track, or the steel is such a way that it's just not going to get it because the detent ball and the steel aren't really going to mate. So again, there's no guarantees, but those are just a few things to maybe look at. And I think one of the biggest telling things, having them in my hand, I can tell. And I think anybody that has a few Medfords and gets one, opening and closing it a few times, you're going to know, even if you were blindfolded. But for me, it was the size difference. It's a little smaller. But as far as visually, it's that lock bar. That lock face, sorry. Ask for a picture of the lock face. If you have any questions, ask for a picture of the lock face. That is about the most telling point that I've seen. Super visual. They can take a picture. They can't really fake that picture by taking it at a weird angle or anything like that. It pretty much is what it is. So that's a great picture. The pivots, the finger grooves, the logo is never painted on. It's never colored. It's only stamped into the blade. So if it looks bright and vibrant, more than likely it's a fake. So I hope this was interesting and educational. If you guys, I'm sure I forgot some other points, and there's some other ones that have completely different pivots that don't look anything like this at all. Those are complete fakes. But in the comments below, please put in the other things that you have seen that indicate a fake. I really want to raise the awareness and give people a place to look as a checklist, so to speak, of things to look out for when buying secondhand, because there are clones out there. I don't know how much this cost. I don't know where to buy it. I don't want to know. I was hesitant about having it in the first place, but I thought it was a good educational point to really share with the masses just some differences between the two of at least this one fake. There are other fakes, I am sure, and they're going to have different telltale signs, but do some research. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. Thanks a lot for watching. Please let me know your comments, your thoughts down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.